These events happened in the days of King Xerxes, who reigned over 127 provinces stretching from India to Ethiopia. At that time, Xerxes ruled his empire from his royal throne at the fortress of Susa. In the third year of his reign, he gave a banquet for all his nobles and officials. The celebration lasted 180 days.
Where are my servants? I want you to bring Queen Vashti here to me.
My queen, my king would like to see you right now.
No, I'm not going. Why do I have to see the king?
This is the king's order. You must come with me right now.
I say no.
My lord, the queen has refused to come to see you.
The queen is not allowed to do this. Nobles, come forth.
Queen Vashti has done wrong, not only against the king, but also against all the nobles and the people of the provinces of King Xerxes. If the people knew that the queen refused the king's command, all the women would think that it's okay to disobey their husband. We cannot let this happen.
Indeed.
Therefore, if it pleases the king, let him issue a royal decree, and let it be written in all the laws of Persia and Media that Queen Vashti is never allowed to be queen of Persia.
That's a splendid idea.
Now there was, in the citadel of Susa, a Jew of the tribe of Benjamin, named Mordecai, son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, who had been carried into exile from Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Mordecai had taken in a cousin named Hadassah, whom he had brought up because she had neither a father nor a mother. This young woman, who was also known as Esther, had a lovely figure and was beautiful.
Let us look for beautiful women, and whoever pleases the king the most shall be the next queen.
Okay, sounds great.
Before each young woman was taken to the king, she was given the prescribed 12 months of beauty treatments, 6 months with oil of myrrh, followed by 6 months with special perfumes and ointments. When it was time for her to go to the king's palace, she was given her choice of whatever clothing or jewelry she wanted to take from the harem.
Hello, young lady. What's your name?
I'm Esther. Pleased to meet you.
You're so beautiful. I think the king will be very pleased.
Esther had not told anyone of her nationality and family background, because Mordecai had directed her not to do so.
Hello, what is your name?
Greetings, my king. My name is Esther. Pleased to be in your presence.
King was attracted to Esther more than any of the other women, and she won his favor and approval more than any of the other virgins. So he set a royal crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. During the time Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, I found out about the plot.
Hey, I really hate the king. Why can't we assassinate him?
Yeah, let's assassinate him.
Mordecai told Queen Esther, who in turn reported it to the king, giving credit to Mordecai. And when the report was investigated and found out to be true, the 2 officials were impaled on poles. All this was recorded in the book of the annals in the presence of the king. When Haman saw that Mordecai would not kneel down or pay him honor, he was enraged.
Why are you not bowing down?
Yet having learned who Mordecai's people were, he scorned the idea of only killing Mordecai.
O king, there is a certain people scattered among all the people in all the provinces of your kingdom. Their customs are different from all the other people, and they do not obey the king's laws. It is not in the king's best interest to tolerate them. If it pleases the king, let a decree be issued to destroy them, and I will give 10,000 talents of silver to the king's administrators for the royal treasury.
You may do as you said.
Haman looked for a way to destroy all of Mordecai's people, the Jews, throughout the whole kingdom of Xerxes. When Mordecai learned of all that had been done, he tore his clothes and put on sackcloth and ashes, and went out into the city, wailing loudly and bitterly. When Esther's eunuchs and female attendants came and told her about Mordecai, she was in great distress. Esther summoned Hatak and ordered him to find out what was troubling Mordecai and why. So Hatak went out to Mordecai in the open square of the city in front of the king's gate. Mordecai told him everything that had happened to him. He told him to instruct her to go into the king's presence to beg for mercy and plead with him for her people.
All the king's officials and the people of the royal provinces know that for any man or woman who approaches the king without being summoned has one law, that they be put to death unless the king extends the golden scepter.
Tell Esther, do not think that because you are in king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this.
Go get all the Jews and fast for me. Do not eat and drink for 3 days, night or day. Attendants and I will fast as we do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even if it's against the law. And if I perish, I perish.
The king was sitting on his royal throne in the hall. When he saw Queen Esther, he was pleased with her and held out to her the gold scepter that was in his hand.
What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom will be given to you.
If it pleases the king, come to a banquet I have prepared for you with Haman.
Bring Haman at once, so we may do what Esther requests.
Now, what is your petition? Even up to half the kingdom will be given to you.
My petition and my request is this. If the king regards me with favor, let the king and Haman come to the banquet I will prepare tomorrow. Then I'll answer your question.
Oh, they're gonna honor me. Let all the people honor me.
Haman was very happy as he left the banquet, but he sees Mordecai not honoring him, then gets angry.
Why are you not bowing down to me?
Haman kept his patience and went home.
I have a lot of children and wealth. The king honored me, and I will be promoted. And also the queen is inviting me to a banquet. That should be a happy thing, but Mordecai is making me upset.
Set up a pole and have Mordecai impaled on it so you can enjoy the banquet.
So Haman ordered his servants to set up the pole where he could hang Mordecai. That night,
I can't sleep. Bring the book of the Chronicles to me and read it.
in the Chronicles it was found, recorded that Mordecai had exposed Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, who had conspired to assassinate King Xerxes.
Has Mordecai been awarded for this? Nothing has been done for Mordecai. Who's standing at the court? Haman is standing at the court.
At that time, Haman had just entered the outer court to speak to the king about hanging Mordecai on the pole that had been set up for him. Haman entered, and the king asked him,
What should be done for the man the king delights to honor?
Haman thought that he was going to be awarded, so he told the king,
For the man the king wants to honor, give him a royal robe, a crown, and a horse. Entrust the robe and the horse to one of the royal princes. Let them robe the man and tell everyone, this is the man the king wants to honor.
Go at once. Do everything you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew that's sitting at the gate. Do not neglect anything that you have suggested.
So Haman got the robe and the horse. He robed Mordecai and led him on horseback through the city streets, proclaiming before him, This is what is done for the man that the king delights to honor. Afterward, Mordecai returned to the king's gate, but Haman rushed home, with his head covered in grief, and told Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had happened to him.
Since Mordecai is Jewish, you cannot stand against him.
While they were still talking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried Haman away to the banquet Esther had prepared.
Queen Esther, what is your petition? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom will be given to you.
If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life. This is my petition. Spare my people. This is my request. My people were sold to be killed and destroyed.
Who is he? Where is he? The man who has dared to do such thing.
This enemy, this vile Haman.
And Haman was terrified before the king and queen. Just as the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet hall, Haman was falling on Esther.
Will you even molest the queen while I'm in the house?
As soon as the word left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's
The
face.
king, Haman made a pole. He set it up for Mordecai.
Impale him on it!
So they impaled Haman on the pole that he had set up for Mordecai. Then the king's fury subsided. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, and Mordecai came into the presence of the king, for Esther had told how he was related to her. The king took off his signet ring, which he had reclaimed from Haman, and presented it to Mordecai. Esther again pleaded with the king, falling at his feet and weeping. She begged him to put an end to the evil plan of Haman, which he had devised against the Jews. The king extended the gold scepter to Esther, and she rose and stood before him.
If it pleases the king with me, let an order be written overruling the dispatches that Haman devised and wrote to destroy the Jews in all the king's provinces. For how can I bear to see disaster fall on my people? How can I bear to see the destruction of my family?
Now write another decree in the king's name in behalf of the Jews as seems best to you.
and seal it with the king's signet ring, for no document written in the king's name and sealed with its ring can be revoked.
The king's edict granted the Jews in every city the right to assemble and protect themselves, to destroy, kill, and annihilate the armed men of any nationality or province who might attack them and their women and children. For the Jews, it was a time of happiness and joy, gladness and honor. And many people of other nationalities became Jews because fear of the Jews had seized them.